Hello everyone, I'm back for another update. I'm currently in Lake Alma State Park in Ohio. Taking a break from riding today. Yesterday I did make it to Wellston, Ohio. I was planning on getting between Wellston and Chillicothe. I only made it to Wellston because the terrain was very hilly at times and a lot of steep hills. I ended up making it just to Wellston and to the state park here where I'm camped out. And hiking this little trail here that goes to the lake. Campground is down there. So as you can see, though this is Ohio, it is very hilly in this part of Ohio. So on July 11th, I left Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. So it's been just over 2 weeks. I'm now in southeastern Ohio. I'm leaning toward heading to the UP of Michigan. And then westward from there toward Mount Rushmore. On my bicycle. There is lots of rain in the forecast this week. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get each day. But I'm hoping to be at least in northwestern Indiana by next weekend. Because my plan is to go up the east shore of Lake Michigan toward the UP. So weather and climate news, as I predicted weeks ago, the tropics quieted down to Hurricane Beryl, as I predicted it would. Of course, there's a lot of posts talking about how season's going to get active again, and by the middle of August, this is just a lull. Because they don't want to accept the fact that they could have been wrong with their forecast. Of course, I can't say for sure at this point if it is going to wake back up again or not. I'm leaning toward it probably isn't. Because the heat has been taken out of the water by all this manipulation and a weaker than average solar cycle. Not enough heat has been replenished. A little bit was, and that's what I believe, fueled Beryl. They gobbled up what little fuel was put in by the solar flares we had back in May. And Beryl basically gobbled up all that extra heat that was put in during those flares into the ocean. And though there's been a lot of sunspots lately, there's been no significant flare activity since May. Yeah, we had a couple minor X class, some M class, but not enough to replenish the reserves of heat that are lacking in the oceans. Of course, they talk about the oceans being record warm. The evidence just doesn't support it. Saying this is going to be a record season again. Eastern Pacific has only had 2 named storms so far, and they were both pretty much probably didn't even rate getting a name. The Atlantic has had only 3 so far, and 2 out of the 3 I don't believe should have been named. They were very weak systems. Of course, the summer has been a little bit on the hot side at times, but that's due to the MJO staying in phase 4 and 5 most of the summer so far, which are hot phases for the U.S. The reason why we had a cool down last week is because it was in phase, the MJO went to phase 2 and 3 for a while. It seems like, though, they've stopped, at least for now, trying to manipulate the MJO into phase 6. Probably because hurricane season, Max, is approaching, and they don't want to screw it up with an unfavorable MJO. Because we haven't been getting any storms lately, especially. Because yes, they do have the ability to control the MJO, at least for now they do, until the heat reserves in that area are used up in the water completely. But as I've been talking about, have we crossed the threshold to all the heat reserves being gone and not being able to get any more tropical systems? I believe we're pretty close. And unless the sun puts out some more serious flares, this season's likely going to be a dud. I know it flies in the face of what a lot of people have said. Everybody was thinking after Beryl that was it. It was going to be go gangbusters with all kinds of storms, and what happened again was Beryl used up, they manipulated Beryl to, as I've explained in previous videos, to grow into what it did, Cat 5. And yes, I believe it was genuinely, looking at the radar images, was genuinely a Cat 4 or 5 storm. I said they got lucky with Beryl because those solar flares back in May put just enough heat in that water so that they could pull off another Dorian type situation. Dorian, I think, was the first storm that they artificially manipulated to become a major storm. That's about when it started, because we had been coming off an extended period of reduced tropical system activity. It did not fit the agenda. He came up with satellite technology to try to reverse this decline in storms. And it worked for a few years, because there was enough heat reserve still in the waters to fuel these systems with some help. Now I feel we've reached a point where they've used up so much heat out of that water from either creating storms or trying to create storms, that most of the heat reserves to fuel these storms with are gone, because hurricanes need excess heat. They need very warm water at the surface and to some depth to form and maintain it themselves. So it'll be interesting to see what the rest of this season brings. And I don't feel it's going to be as active as they're claiming it's going to be. That's going to be it with that discussion. My plans for tomorrow is to depart from here and hopefully make it. I'm in the direction of Washington Courthouse, Ohio. And then hopefully on Tuesday, make it to Dayton, Ohio. Is my plan for the next couple days. Yeah, there is, again, rain chances for the rest of the week. It's really hard to say exactly how much ground I'm going to cover. Depends on the timing of the rain. It depends on how much rain. It's all uncertain at this point. Now I'm heading to Lake Michigan is my plan, and then I'm going to go up the west shore of Lake Michigan, go through the UP, into Minnesota eventually, hoping to make it to Mount Rushmore, hopefully by Labor Day, is my plan. And then, depending on the weather and my financial reserves by then, I have been going through more finances than I expected so far. Hopefully I will be able to continue from Mount Rushmore on to Yellowstone is my tentative plan. And again, so far I have made it from Outer Banks of North Carolina, and I'm now in southeastern Ohio. Covered over 600 miles on my bike tour. And so again, I am taking a one-day break today, and will be resuming my journey tomorrow. That's going to be it. I'll be back soon.